another hour with a really good guest. He's been on before and he was good before. So I invite him back, and I'm glad. This is Edward Torchy Smith. Torchy is in parentheses. I can't imagine what that means. He is the founder of Baby Boomers Talk Radio.
Hello, Barry.
Hi there. Let's start. I still can't figure out what Torchy means. The only image I have is you're on fire.
No, I'm not a pyromaniac. Those rumors are not true. I was born with bright red hair, and the nurse brought me to my mother, and she said, "Here's your little torch," and that was it. I was Torchy, and even registered in school under that name until they made my mother change it. Kind of screwed me up, and that's it. I can win the Howdy Doody Lookalike contest when they had them back in the old days.
All right. Well, my nickname was Roiderskopf. That's Yiddish for redhead. All righty.
I know what a kepi is. That's all I know.
Roidish is red, and Kopf is head. All righty. Let's dive into your stuff. I think it meant a lot to me this week. Let's start with your interpretation of life. One, millions of baby boomers are starting to hit retirement age. And if you think the economy was in trouble before, it's about to get really ugly. Why?
Well, 10,000 baby boomers a day apply for Social Security. And if you think of Social Security and some of the other benefits as a chain letter, where the people on the bottom are going to get screwed and the people on the top keep taking, it's going to be bad in the next 10 years. No matter what you hear from the candidate. Excuse me? Say that again?
No health care costs. All you have to pay is your Social Security. But if you go into a hospital these days, there's
Well, Medicare, as we all know, pays for like 80%, and that other 20% with the Plan B that you have to shell out is going to be astronomical. It's not going to go down; it's going to go way up. And many people that we were promised as baby boomers, the money would be there. We're not sure now. Plus, all our equity, and this is kind of a long answer, I'll try to make it short, but all our equity for various reasons, whether it was inflation or the crash of 2008, has dissipated so much that even if you're semi-rich, you're hurting. And, of course, baby boomers were people that are much healthier and are going to live longer than our predecessors. So that, in turn, drains the treasury.
What about private retirement funds? Somebody's got to take money from somewhere.
Well, they're private. And some of them were capped. And now you get into legal issues. And, the government was never going to supply enough money to you anyways. It had to be private. And if you didn't save or do stuff on your own, you were going to be screwed anyways. But this was the greatest generation. We had the most dollars. Advertising was geared to us because we have the most disposable dollars. But again, that is eroding and quickly. And so we're going to be in trouble.
We were responsible for a great old... I thought I was going to be retired, but I'm not. I'm going to have to work. As long as I live, I'm going to have to work.
Well, remember when those IRAs came out, and everybody said, "Oh, invest in your IRA. If you put $1 in, you're supposed to get so much out when you're 65, and you're going to be set." And
IRAs, the Irish Republican Army. Not that I supported them.
Well, Yeah,
I know what you're. Okay, I know what you're saying. You got to be a little loose on this. Things are not looking good for anybody, and I'm, in that kind of mood where I'm kidding a bit. I know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There is good times ahead.
There is?
Yeah. Oh, I think so, because we're not going to know what the bad things are. We're going to be medicated. We're going to be medicated. And I want to start a channel where we can just talk to one another, and we have a different perspective. Our history is something that is golden, that others don't have. And we can relate to one another a lot better than Millenniums or X Generation or anything.
Sure, we went Beatles and everything. We got memories. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Believe me when I say that, I know exactly what you're saying, okay?
Well, we have history. We know history. We know the three branches of government. We know what happened at Watergate. We can relate to anything that's happening today. We have a barometer of what already happened, and that has been erased. All they know is the Kardashians, video games, the distractions are numerous.
With a big ass, right?
Okay.
Torchy, what you're saying a little more serious now is that the government is blamed for the upcoming crisis in the first place. How?
Well, it is in a way, but we are the government. I mean, the baby boom generation formed what I would consider the liberal end of fiscal responsibility. After Vietnam, many of the teachers became, from that generation, were liberal, and the education was liberal. When we went to school in the Eisenhower years, oh my gosh, you could get hit by a ruler, everybody was on the same page, everybody learned the same thing. Everything was morals. I mean, everything was very conservative. So when the liberals broke out into the education system, which has happened, we're almost expected to go into a way of socialism, and that's what we saw with Uncle Bernie. So that's my take on it. My thing is, though, I just want to be the medium to come to, so we can all get the perspective of popular baby boomers that were once famous, like the Mouseketeers, and listen to those thoughts and communicate back and forth.
I know one, it was IRA connected. There was this mouse coming out of the Dublin Bar and Grill, singing Irish revolutionary songs, and then came the intro. Now it's time to say goodnight to all our company. MICKYMOUSC, Mousy Mick. That one?
Yes, you got it. Can I ask you something? I forgot to ask you something. How old are you?
I hate to say this. I'll be 29 next year. All right, I'm going to be 65 next year.
Okay, so you're not... I'm very proud that you knew the Mouseketeer song, because 65. You're
out of Mickey Mouse and turn him into Mousy Mick.
Well, yeah, you're on the list of the baby boomers, or the cusp, or whatever you want to call it.
I'm right in there with the big time Mouseketeers. Great. With Annette. You know Annette died.
I certainly do. I have interviewed all the. There's two left. I've interviewed all the living Mouseketeers of the A group. That's the ones that did the announcing, and have been very cordial and friendly, and they all know me now with interviews that I've done with them. And
you saw Annette in a bikini?
Didn't we? Was that a bikini? Yeah, that was the thickest bikini.
Right. They were on the beach.
That wasn't a bikini. That was called a two-piece.
Oh, of course. It's how silly of me. Look.
And I think
now
the top of it
I'm going to give your version. I have to keep it semi-serious. I'm very distressed by life right now. I think the flu has got to me. But what you're saying is, here is what your reason in the first place is that small business owners are being forced out of business by the government. Here's your quote. Government is killing innovation. If you want to open a popcorn stand, you need $1 million as a lawyer. That's your claim. All right. Is that, like, literally? Is it a literal claim?
Well, it depends how big of a popcorn stand and the location. You know, there's 3 rules of real estate and business: location, location, location. So I guess if you have a popcorn stand in Bel Air or Beverly Hills, it's $1 million for sure. But needless to say, it's almost impossible to open a retail store today and make it right away. You need like 4 or 5 years behind you before you can even compete. And retail is something.
All this is run down on everything. I'll go back to our generation. A simple thing like a hamburger tasted better. Quality was really important back then. It's fake quality now.
It's fake quality? Well, yeah, you get what you pay for. You always have. But back then, a nickel was a lot of money, and for a candy bar, and you got this huge candy bar for a nickel, I guess. And they didn't have the machines to make it non-quality. They didn't even know how to make something cheaper. So, yeah, it was quality. Yes.
I went to Walmart yesterday. I wasn't feeling well. The car broke down. Bad day. Wanted to get just simple medicine. Without telling you the nightmare, it ended when, let's see, how many of their quality lines to pay for the goods wouldn't work because, who knows, some technician wasn't there. It was all frozen. It was the worst shopping experience I can imagine at Walmart. That's what I'm talking about. You can't trust quality issues at all anymore.
Well, I'm not sure that's the baby boomers' fault. I just think that's a sign of the times, and you know, as machines took us over, you know, you could say that with George Orwell too. You know, I mean, it's always going to be a little bit like that. My parents probably said the same thing about certain things that we were doing. So I'm not concerned about that for some reason.
I've seen both sides. I grew up into quality, and I'm going down into non-quality.
Direct. Just direct. Well, yeah, my father-in-law was in the tchotchke business, and he made his big money by not being quality. So
a tchotchke is a little gimmick, a non-real. Well, a tchotchke is a toy.
Well, it's a piece of ceramic, I thought. You just
all right, that'll do. Junk. All right, let's say junk.
Yeah, you're not talking to somebody who wasn't in the sales business, didn't know the tchotchke or the Shimada business. I knew all those businesses. So, but
for my business are rags.
Yes, Shimadas are rags. That's exactly. So the clothing doesn't have the stitching it used to have. The pottery isn't as handmade as it used to be. Yeah, I mean, so what? I mean, those are the times. I'm not concerned about that because those aren't the things that are going to put us in a depression.
They're going to help. They'll put in their 2 cents worth.
Well, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. I'm more concerned that we're moving towards a how do you put it? A consumer business that is going to be government controlled through socialism. And you know, it started with FDR. It didn't start recently, But, when FDR, after the Depression, during the Depression rather, he had the National Recovery Act, remember shovel-ready jobs? His were really shovel-ready. I mean, they really did get us out, but it was never supposed to be something that would take over capitalism. And sometimes I think that's where we're headed.
All right, we're going to get into your point of view now for real. And I see where you're placing blame now. All right, I'm going to quote you. Give you a fair shot at this. Today, young adults are faced with a job market that is hyper-saturated by graduate-level degrees and short on decent-paying jobs. What you're claiming is you have to get these degrees because there's an industry, an education industry that has to stay alive, but the degrees are putting you forever and ever in debt. Let's start with that one.
Well, I think that's pretty obvious. I've never gone to the newspaper and seen a job we're looking for art history majors. We're looking for 20 art history majors for our business, and each one of those.
If you're a social worker, you get a job with the city. If you're mediocre, well, you know what happens to you.
Yeah, you're a civil servant. Well, here's the trouble. The discrimination against older people is supposed to be in place with the government, or to be fair, and it doesn't exist. If what they do is they restructure these jobs at the upper third level, and they restructure it so you start doing a lousy job, you're not capable of doing it, and then you're replaced by 2 millenniums at a much lower rate, and that's how they compete. So the guy who's out of a job, who is a semi-executive or an executive, according to statistics, it takes him 2 years to get a job, and only 50% after 2 years get a job.
Yeah, okay. All right. I see where you're going. And by the way, my only protection in life is I'm not on that treadmill. But you know what? What you write here, I can actually relate to. Here's your quote. When the lucky ones do find work, they are often underemployed and underpaid, no doubt about it. Now I thought about my kids and my friends' kids. You know what? When I was growing up, a college degree was a kind of route to sophistication. My kids, my friends' kids, they don't have college degrees because it doesn't pay. Alright? It's the smart choice. They're comfortable with technology. What do they need one for? You grow up into it.
There's a guy, Dennis Prager, of course. I listen to him once in a while, and he'll agree with that. He has a Prager University or something. I don't wish to give him a plug, but he's...
Do you have a good football team?
Yeah, they're online also. They play games online, their football team. They play each other online, but it is true. You're sometimes hindrance by having a college education because you're, of course, behind the 8 ball financially. I think everybody knows that now. But it's funny. Listen to this. In our day, if you worked 5 years at a job, you'd say, well, yeah, you've got some security. 5 years is you're doing pretty good. If you work 5 years at a job now and you're a millennium, there's something wrong with you. Your employer, the guy who you're interviewing for the job says, why were you there 5 years? That's not good.
What happened in the days when your first job application accepted was your last one?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a different world, and I think baby boomers now have to just relate to history of what they went through and give it a perspective that the millenniums don't have, and it's a little bit of a fight, and you see it with the talking heads on TV. They sometimes don't know about certain events that happened, and it does make a difference. There just isn't the history there. I'll give you an example. You want an example? Am I too long here? Can I give you an example?
Go ahead.
This irked me this morning. I'm watching and thinking about the Olympics, and Olympics is a good thing. There's no controversy. And I'm thinking, I read and saw in the news a little article about they had a memorial for the '72 Olympics and the some of the survivors.
Oh, the Munich Olympics, the mass murder of Israelis?
Exactly. So they finally recognized it. Now, I'm not sure that anybody other than baby boomers knows what happened. So, terrorism is not anything new. People would think, oh, they're guarding against terrorism. They don't know that it even happened back in '72, where all the athletes from Israel
were
back killed.
36. You want to see the real thing in terror? Just go back generation to Berlin.
Well, that's the whole thing that Hitler did. There was a couple Jewish athletes that later on he put them back in the concentration camp. It was terrible. But in our lifetime where it was covered and seen by everybody on TV, it's sort of like forgotten with this generation, and it shouldn't have been. And we should have talked about it. We should have seen Mark Spitz up there talking about it, or a few other people, just as a barometer and a reminder of what happened.
People know that Spitz was the best swimmer before Phelps.
Yeah, and he had better teeth.
Big winner in the 70s and 60s. He was really a talented swimmer. Anyone know the name? I'll bet you your millennials don't.
No, well, maybe the sports ones do. I mean, if you're interested in that type of thing. But in general, no, they would know unless it was brought out. And it's probably not brought out because it's too hard for them to make a coverage.
And in perspective.
Right. That's it.
It gets worse. Look, I'm glad you're here a lot because I have a perspective that does meld with yours. All right? And you're remembering things that I'm remembering. And as I said before, when you're a little foolish, you remember things you don't want to remember. You brought up Mark Spitz. He looked great in his very teensy bathing suit and holding up 7 medals. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't smoke drugs and everything, but it was a different time, and he had great teeth. But again, it's a matter of maybe there's too much to learn, but I really think there is no comparison.
We'll do that in a half hour. We'll go in comparison. I know where you're heading. I'm not sure you trace it back to socialism, liberalism. I think they're all the same dreck, frankly. But that's fine. Oh, we take 3 minutes. When we come back, we plug, both of us get a plug, and then we'll dive into it. But as I say, I don't think one side is more right than the other side. They're both being run. All right.
All right.
Back in 3 minutes with,
okay.
Well, now we know why he's Torchy. The same reason I was Roy the Stuff. 30, folks.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.
The book of Revelation says, "The spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ." This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Despite Nicolas Cage's promise to do his best to get left behind rapture answers for us, don't hold your breath. Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie, with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character, as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy, in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. If you want true Bible prophecy answers, get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. The author exposes the Latin rapture origin, the 7-year tribulation deception, true Bible revelation of Daniel's 70 weeks, the abomination of desolation, the restrainer, America in the Revelation, the image of the beast and the mark of the beast, and the truth about God's chosen people, and so much more about Bible prophecy. This book will shatter the Left Behind paradigm of future events. Get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.
Okay. And Annette and Frankie Avalon and everybody gathering on a blanket and having fun doing really simple and stupid stuff, actually, in retrospect. But neither here nor there. That's what we recall in our youth. Look, I'm going to plug me first. Okay. I'll get this over with. All my books are at lulu.com. That's www.lulu.com. There's a search box. Write in my name, Chamish. Chamish. You'll get to... I've got 9 books there in 3 languages. Wow. Lots of choice, guys. And David Cameron, you don't have my... Send me your address. You get a package in the mail tomorrow, okay? And don't forget this time. That was my intention last time, but I didn't get your home address. Send me, you get. Next, David Cameron is running my website and getting people writing and saying they're enjoying it. www.barrychamish.com. Folks, we're archived for a week at www.libertyarchives.com in case you missed that. or get ready for Torchy Smith's bio. Go ahead, plug yourself.
Okay, well, on a lighter side, I have a website, www.babyboomerstalkradio. And about every 5 days, I have a person on there that I've interviewed that many of you will recognize from the past. I've had the Mouseketeers. I've had people from My Three Sons, Animal House, Little House on the Prairie. So,
forget Rob. Forget Rob. You had the kid on?
Yeah. Who? I've had... Ask me again, who?
The one that didn't look like he was Fred McMurray's kid. He had blonde hair.
Yes, yes. His name is Stanley Livingston. He played... He played Chip. Nicest guy in the world. Absolutely.
Chipper. Chipper.
Chipper is Stanley Livingston. Absolutely one of the nicest guys in the world. I've interviewed him. He's still in the business. On the other end, he produces some things and has stayed in the business and has made a living. Nice guy, and I'm going to be seeing him shortly, by the way. I'm going to be in L.A. So, people like that.
Mother.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'll bet you never interviewed their mother. I think the premise was that Fred married 3 times and had 3 kids from 3 different mothers. I believe that was the premise, right?
Well, no. No, the mother died, but they never said exactly how. And then Fred McMurray gets remarried in the later years.
I can recall her. She was blonde. She should have been the Chipper. Right? That should be Chipper's mother.
And
okay.
Tim Considine wanted to direct, and Fred McMurray said no way, and they got rid of him.
Tim Considine's brother was another talented Considine. Who is that?
I don't know. I just know Tim Considine from Spin and Marty and soap opera.
Tim. All right. By the way, my memory of trivia is pretty good. All right.
Okay. Well, that right now, if you go to my website, this week is Nellie Olson from I won't say what they call her, the Prairie Itch, and she is on, and she is also one of the nicest people and a stand-up comic. So we can hear her.
And her humor still with her at her age?
Who's with her?
Her humor.
You
lose at the time, you know?
No, she is funny. She is a funny woman and very, very nice. But she had trouble adjusting because everybody come up to her and want to throw things at her. She was so mean in the program.
You know, this is an interview I'm going to. Tell me how to get to it.
www.babyboomerstalkradio.com. And once you get there, on that page, you'll see a picture of her name is Allison Ingram is her real name. And then down below, you click on, and you'll be on the server for the radio station. And it's looped 24 hours a day.
I'm going to give you a piece of trivia. She's still alive. You ready?
Yes.
Pat Priest.
Who?
Pat Priest? She was Marilyn on the Monsters.
Oh. She is she was the sane one, or the one that looked...
She was the cute one.
Yeah, she's still alive. I'll have to get a hold of her.
I looked her up.
But Butch Patrick is somebody I've been in contact with, who is Eddie Munster.
Yeah.
So, they're all out there. What? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, what's he up to? I assume he got rid of his fangs.
He does autograph shows.
Okay. So in other words, his hair doesn't have that wonderful look. What do you call when
a widow's peak, or the widow's peak, or whatever. It's some kind of peak.
Yes, the widow's peak.
I have news for you. Barry, I have news for you. He still has it.
Really? It's his listing then.
Yeah, you can go to Facebook and you can search for him. I'm not sure he wants you to say that. You can, or he has a fan page. If you go to him or just Google him, he's around. He looks pretty good and seems to be a nice guy. Like I said, I've been in contact with him, and his hair is there, and that peak is there. You'll recognize him. His name is Butch Patrick.
I know his name. The only one I know when he retired, he stood outside a deli in Manhattan. He was also Schnauzer. Car 54, where are you? That's Al Lewis.
Oh, I remember him. Oh,
you bet. You bet you do. Now, Yvonne DiCarlo was in the Ten Commandments.
Okay, I got a little bit of trivia for you on the Ten Commandments. Get a hold of this. Kathy Garver was a slave girl, and she was later Sissy on Family Affair.
Oh, that Marvelous Kelly show where he had a butler. Somehow this guy had a butler watching the kids.
Right, the butler raised the kids, yeah. That's why they got problems today.
John Cabot.
Yeah.
So, the butler, John Cabot.
Yeah, and you can hear a lot of these interviews that are coming up. Today I did one that's going to be coming up with Robin from Batman and Robin. His name is Burt Ward.
Yep.
And he's a very interesting guy. He's still around. And he does some voiceovers and raises dogs. Great big dogs. And yeah, that one's coming up. Good guy.
Oh, folks, we went through. I know all these people. Sebastian Cabot, not John Cabot. Sebastian Cabot. It's all coming back now. Oh, God. And the father was in The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming. He was the same sheriff who didn't give in to Alan Arkin, the Russian.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah. We got to get together someday. We really do. We have to. By the way, my growing up, if I could interview them, they're still alive, and I knew them, who were like Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman, and these are people I grew up with.
Wow.
So everyone's their own trivia. I hate to do this. It's such a good and restful interview when you bring up Robin Ward. And by the way, I don't believe that he could punch out anybody.
I have this. No, he took karate. He actually took karate with Kato. The guy who played Kato, of course, is, oh my gosh, my mind just went blank, the famous karate guy. But he played in the Green Hornet.
CATO, and it'll come back to me. My memory isn't exactly what it used to be, but it's pretty good, I want you to know. I got lots of trivia in me. Lots and lots.
Well, for 69, my memory's pretty good, so that's one reason. And I'm good in technology, fortunately, so I'm just the right guy for this.
All right. I'm going to return, I suppose some listeners want us to return to reality, and I have to. Kind of an obligation. It's weird. What you say, and I'm going to tell you right now, is true, that us baby boomers are going to be left behind in technology. I had 2 computer systems freeze on me, go down suspiciously, but my writing career changed. Okay? I'm left behind in technology. And for all my college degrees, nothing pays. That's it. The changing world of baby boomers and how are they... All right, you tell me, how are we going to be left behind in technology? And jobs, obviously. Who wants to hire an old man?
Well, I think that's a subject that we could spend 2 hours on. How are you being left on technology? I was forced to learn it. So, and my friends, some of them were and some of them weren't. And if you weren't forced to do it back in the 80s when it first came out, you said, I don't want this. I don't want. It's like my wife. She didn't want a phone. She didn't want a smartphone. I just want a regular phone. I want to talk. That's it. Now I can't. And now I can't get her. Now she's over her limit on data. I can't get her off of it. She's on it all the time.
Honest. Mine paid $300 for a smartphone. It's a pretty smartphone, let me tell you. Knows how to milk you.
So, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to learn it, you're going to learn it. And I think baby boomers just didn't want to. It's just a matter, or they didn't have to. So in my business, I had to, and I was forced to, and then I loved it. And then I was a graphic designer a long time ago, and I love to do photoshopping. If you go to Torchy Smith and go to my Facebook page, you'll see a lot of my photos that I Photoshop. And
all right, plug that one too. Go ahead. Throw it out there. Let listeners find you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, there's only one Torchy Smith, so I don't mind if they find me and become my friend. I haven't reached the 5,000 limit yet, and
they're going to force anyone after 5,000 not to get you.
Yeah, you can only have 5,000 friends on Facebook, by the way. But
can't expand it.
Yeah, it stops after 5,000 friends. But if you have a group, if you start your own group, you could have 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. Doesn't matter. So groups are very popular, and so that's how that works.
Let you in on a quick secret before we go. My landlord thinks I'm old and stupid, and my air conditioning went off for 3 days, and I was about to be basted. Oh, maybe fried. Who knows what happens when it's 95 outside, you have no air conditioning. What they told me was, if you don't like it, move to the Waldorf Astoria. I'm telling you, that's the truth. You get old, they view you as really, really dumb and unable to defend yourself. But I fought free legal aid, and I found out what my rights really are the old way.
Yeah, well, that's why we need to bond and have some kind of communications.
What did William Frawley used to say?
William Frawley used to say?
To his 3 grandsons. William Frawley was Gramps. Fred McMurray.
Yeah, my 3 sons, yeah.
Butler.
Yeah, well, he was mostly drunk all the time in real life, so he didn't...
And Daddy was mostly chasing the pretty women guests on the show, if we want to dive into that, but he was lovable.
Yes, Stanley has told me some things about him. Yeah, he would be fired today. There's no doubt about it. They don't like.
You know what? Barbara Eden is still alive. Get her on your show.
I can't. I'm booking so many. I don't have time to even get to all of them. I'm not kidding you. I can only do 1 or 2 a week, and I do a video along with them. I forgot to tell you. I have my own channel on YouTube. Go to Torchy Smith, and with each one of the baby boomers I interview, I do a montage video along with them. So if you know how to use YouTube, you can find those.
Somewhat, but don't let her wear the jean costume. Time has taken its toll.
I don't know. Maybe she looks. I don't know. She always had the best
her
belly
age,
button.
but now everyone says for her age.
Yes, yes. Some of them you don't want to see. You'll hear them on radio and just dream. don't be. Why be disappointed?
All right, we have to return. I'm going to go back to this, by the way. I got plenty of common memories with you, plenty of them, all right? What is the changing baby boomer consumer? I would assume when we were growing up, we were buying Dawn detergents, and now we're looking at medicines and ways to survive another 10 years.
I would highly recommend. I don't give advice over the phone for investments, but get into the pens. Invest in the pens and get into them, because those are the markets that are going to flourish. Every baby boomer generation had its own marketing and products that they use. So pain medicine, Tommy Copper bands, whatever has to do with getting old is going to double or triple in the next few years, I'm sure.
I think that's a smart choice, survival choice. Get what I heard, I think, is get into pain medicine. No?
What, say that again? Pain medicine, you said?
I think I heard that. Maybe I didn't. You made a point that Torchy can discuss the changing baby boomer consumer.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, yes. And, somebody says there's 80 million of us. There probably isn't. If you can consider baby boomers from 1947 to 1955, there's about 40 or 50 million. If you consider them further, there's 80 million. But there's no other group larger than us. But, in 10 years from now,
Chase the pop stars that came into my town. I somehow managed to get private interviews in their hotel rooms there was the Box Tops. They had 3 records. They played them over and over in the concert. The Letter of Neon Rainbow. That's all they knew then. Gary Puckett and Union Gap. Yes.
I've actually... Yeah?
You actually interviewed Gary Puckett?
I think I met him at an event one time, and he travels with he still travels, Gary Puckett and Union Gap. He travels with a group of the Happy Together tour or something like that, and they're still traveling. They still want money. So if they want money, they're not going to do an interview. That's usually how that works.
All right, I had an hour and a half with. You're talking with nice people. I saw a movie about these people this year. Not these, well, actually all of them except Bob Gaudio, who got thrown out of the band. I was with Frankie Valli for an hour.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I don't know if he tours or, did he have a resurgence because of his movie?
Well, all right.
He says he's like the integer bunny. He says he's like the bunny.
The bunny?
Yeah, but he doesn't stop, He's like in his song, he says he's the energized bunny that keeps on going. So I'm sure he's still out there performing.
Too current for me. But I want to know he didn't mind us 12-year-old kids really interested in him at the hotel. He stuck with us. He was a really good guy.
Yeah, some of them are. People are always amazed sometimes how nice the stars are, and sometimes they're not. They're just regular people. And, my daughter had to work with many of them, and she got a rude awakening.
Any effort?
Pardon?
You said Betty. Betty Everett?
No, my daughter had to work with them, and had to work with a lot of stars. She worked at True Hollywood Stories at the E! Channel. And, some of them are very nice and cooperative, and, and other ones had an attitude. And you never know. Sometimes you think because of the role they play or the kind of person they are, you see projected on TV that they would be a certain way, and it's not always true. So. And,
oh, you're right.
And that's the way it is. Walter Cronkite.
It is?
And that's the way we were. And yeah. So,
I'll tell you what's nice to me. Can I throw me in for a second? I'm enjoying the hell out of this. Can I do it? It ended up a very, very popular article in Israel Today. He toured Israel with his gang, who were, by the way, very nice. Gregory Peck was really nice. And, well, this guy was a real prick. His name was Frank Sinatra. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, I only know Frank Sinatra Jr. You mean he had a father? You mean Frank Sinatra Jr. had a father?
Wasn't he kidnapped and it was viewed as a publicity stunt?
It really wasn't. I don't think it really was, and it was viewed as a publicity stunt. But I think he really did get kidnapped.
I want you to know something else. I was the Israeli correspondent. Here's a couple of them. The Hollywood Reporter, that's who I tried to interview Sinatra for. And Billboard, when rock stars came, I got a pass to see them. The only thing I said to Frank Sinatra was, Mr. Sinatra, I'm the Israeli reporter for the Hollywood Reporter. And his answer to me was very succinct. Fuck you! That was it. I wrote a whole article on everyone. Ed McMahon was there. All these guys were really nice, and I got my interview. And the last word of my article for Israel Today, it was my interview with Frank Sinatra, F.KU. And that was the article, and the article was called My Interview with Frank Sinatra. Oh, God.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if they're not nice people, I'm not going to be interviewing them anyway. So,
that was nice. His daughter was there. Her boots really weren't made for walking. She was dumb. Oh, gosh. Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of this. Send me your address. I got presents coming in the mail for you if you do.
Okay. I'm going to need your email address, though. When we hang up, don't get offline. Or I'll tell you what, go to my website. Go to my website and just email me, and I'll certainly
get her to give you my email address.
Okay.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.